and I'm not good at cutting people off because
Me
I
either.
genuinely appreciate every single viewer. So it's like this
Yes.
guy wants to tell me about his grandpappy's truck that he inherited and then 6 months later rolled, and then it's been in the shop, and then this and this and this. And like I'll sit there and listen, and then my friends are like trying to drag me away, being like, "Yo, we have a meeting in 10 minutes," and I'm like,
Me
"But his
too.
grandpappy's truck, like I need to hear
Right.
about this."
I got $500 in cash in case they don't.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the LB Motorsports podcast. I have a very special guest here with me today. Maybe not here with me, but we're here, in spirit from all the way across the country. We've
There
got
you go.
Mr. D-Max Rhino, Ryan.
What's up, Lacey? Good to see you.
What's up? Good to see you. Even though it wasn't that long ago, just SEMA time. So it's a little
Oh,
quicker than normal.
I'm still recovering, so if I cough at any point through this, SEMA got me at the end there.
Did you get sick too?
I lost my voice at first, thinking that was it. It was like a sore throat, and then I have had this hellacious cough for like 2 weeks now. It sucks.
Oh no. So many
First
people
time.
got sick after SEMA.
I hear it's a thing every year, and I've dodged it every year, but this
Yep.
year got me.
That's crazy. Well, we have here with us one of the OG truck YouTubers. And even I feel like that might be a little bit of an insult to just call you a truck YouTuber, but that's kind of how we connected, right? But
Right.
I feel like you stand out from all the other truck YouTubers because you do more of like the blue collar content and, your construction work and everything like that, and really inspiring the next generation of blue collar workers. That's really
Kind of
what you're
become
all
the
about.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the truck stuff started everything for us. I think that's what got us to where we're at. So like I try to never take that for granted, but I don't want to say it got repetitive for me, but I feel like
Yeah.
I had more to offer at some point. And so we kind of shifted the channel a little bit.
Definitely. So would you say you started out more automotive and now through the years have kind of shifted to more different content, which I think is great, by the way, and I should probably take notes.
Yeah, it's just like as my life changed and as we're getting older, when you were 16, building a really cool truck was like the end game. And then when you're, 30, like property and houses are cooler and like the end game. So it kind of shifted to that. Obviously I'll never get away from the truck stuff because that's just, why drive something boring and small.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the channel just kind of made that shift, and it used to be to where if I would post a non-truck video, everybody would get upset and the comment section would just like destroy
Really?
me on how like, we don't care about you working. Like we want to see the truck stuff. And now it's actually the opposite. The ranch and buying the ranch has brought in so many people new to the channel that as soon as I post a truck video, they're like, what is this? We don't want to watch this crap. Like
That is
show us a donkey.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
it's a weird
we
shift.
love the donkeys. We stand the donkeys.
Exactly.
That's so funny. So when do you think that changed for you? Because would you say that was kind of the start of the Work For It brand is when you started making that transition?
No, the Work For It brand started before that. Having the nice trucks. I mean, as you know, social media is all about showing like the fake flashy side of life, and it doesn't ever
Yeah,
show like
unfortunately.
the struggles. And it's starting to, I think, make that shift. And TikTok's kind of been a big helper in pushing that shift to showing more of the real stuff.
Yes.
So
It definitely has.
yeah, so I think like my whole thing with the channel was, all right, here's the nice flashy stuff that's going to draw the viewers in, but I want to be the guy that shows you how to get the nice flashy stuff. I'm digging trenches, I'm shoveling, I'm mixing up mortar, mixing up concrete. Like I do all of that to be able to buy the nice trucks, and nobody was showing that at the time. And I don't know if they were ashamed of it or what, because most of the guys you see that have the big crazy trucks at SEMA, they either work blue collar or own some type of construction company.
100%.
So the Work For It movement kind of started almost at the beginning of the YouTube thing. And it just wasn't exactly as big of a brand as it is now, but it was something that I always wanted to push. And I needed somewhat of a saying to kind of help push the message that I wanted to push along. And obviously Work For It. It's the simplest thing in the world, but it's the truest statement out there.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I mean, I travel all over the place all year. I see Work For It stickers on trucks all across the country.
I
So
love
I
it.
think you've definitely made a statement with that.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome.
And I would say, you have like a little infamous Instagram rant right? From maybe like 2019 that kind of has to do with this, the blue collar, side of things, and that school isn't for everybody and just how broken our school system is. So is
Yeah.
that anything you can go on a rant today if that's what you want to do, or go
I used
for
to
it?
go
I'm
on
here
rants
for
a
it.
lot. That was my I don't want to walk into the gym yet, so I'm gonna sit in the gym parking lot and go on a rant for like 30 minutes, and then I'll get myself fired up. That was my pre-workout, was going on a
Yeah,
rant.
I was going to say,
But
let the pre-workout hit and rage in the
yeah,
truck a little bit.
but that you bring up a good point, and that was honestly one of I don't want to say it's like the drive behind me, but I do like to prove people wrong. And not like in a narcissistic way, but in a way of like, okay, like let's change your mind on things. So growing up in school, I was an honor student, straight A's for dang near my entire school career. But at certain points, I started to realize like school's really about pushing people through and basically gearing you to go to college because they're going to make a lot of money off you in college. We don't make a whole lot of money off of you, K through 12. Albeit they do make some, because if you're absent, they get real upset because they don't make money
Right.
if you're not there.
Exactly.
But getting you through college is their goal, because at that point now we're getting the hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loans out of you, or your parents are paying, $100,000 for you to go to college, whatever it may be. And I started to really pick up on that in high school, and I decided, you know what? I don't think this college thing is for me. I always wanted to work construction. I always wanted to own a construction company. That was my goal. And so anytime the teachers would go around the room and be like, oh, well, what college is everybody going to? It would come to me, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm not, I think I'm going to go, work with my hands. And I was always the one that they'd
Hell
be an
yeah.
example of. And they'd be like, well, you don't want to be like Ryan. Got to go to college to be successful. And I was like, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So right out of high school, I went straight into construction. And, my first year I was making way more than a teacher's salary. And, not to say we don't need teachers, but
Right.
the same people that were telling me I was going to be a nobody, who had their great college degree making, $50,000 a year or whatever it was at the time. I have zero regrets about doing what I did, but I had no role models aside from my parents, who obviously didn't go to college either. But there was nobody in like social media. There was no famous celebrities that were like, yeah, you don't need to go to college. You can go work with your hands, So I wanted to be that guy on social media, to be like, hey kids, there is another option. I know they're only going to force feed you one option because that's the only one that makes them money, but there is another option. And here's an example. I might not be the best example in the world, but here's an example. And so far it's worked for me. So hopefully, the YouTube channel can just inspire somebody. All I needed was one person for me to feel like I've done my duty. And I've had a bunch of DMs from kids that decided to go the trade school route, or they decided just to go straight in as an apprentice. And those are the messages that I love. We get a million messages. They're hard to go through, but when you see one of those, they really do, they touch you. Like that's what you're looking for. And that's kind of, as you have to be responsible being in social media. And I know you are as well. It's one of those things that we talk about off camera, like that you have a certain responsibility to be a decent influence. And, that's all I'm trying to be.
That's so awesome. Well, I think you've done just that. And I feel like it's kind of, that used to be the norm, right? College. And now I think things are kind of evolving, hopefully, with your influence and hopefully a lot of others. I feel like that message is finally coming across that college isn't for everybody, and that it's kind of just a money scheme, I kind of have a similar story, not necessarily, I don't know if you would call doing hair blue collar, but it's definitely, working with your hands, right?
Working with your hands. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I had one of the highest ACT scores in my grade. I only took it once, just like the practice one, because I didn't need it because I was going to go to beauty school. And they begged and begged me. They're like, we can get you all these scholarships, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I want to go to beauty school. And they actually like called my parents into the office and like tried to get them to change my mind. And like I was in trouble, and told me that I would never make a career out of doing hair. And I made 6 figures when I was, 19, 20, like doing that,
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like, not, college isn't for everyone. So I kind of have a similar story, and now I like to stick it to those teachers,
That's what I'm saying. It's not the most narcissistic thing, or it is the most narcissistic thing to say, but I really do like to be like, hey, look, I did it. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys, but you were wrong, and you should probably stop misguiding people.
Exactly. I feel like that's just a good way to take the negative energy and turn it into positive, though.
Exactly.
You know, it's like that energy's going somewhere, so we might as well use it to fuel us and go further, you know.
Yeah, and then
For
we
sure.
reserve like, you know, a little rant here and there for the
Yeah.
Instagram or something, you know.
Exactly.
We try to stay positive, but sometimes they get a little wild in the rants.
Right. You know, it
I've, I-
happens.
I've tamed it down a lot lately. I should probably go back to that. That was fun.
You have. You know, we need a good old D-Max Rhino rant for sure. I'm going
All
to be
right.
expecting one soon.
I got you. I got you. Next thing that fires me up, I'm going.
Hell yeah. Well, I seen you maybe get a little fired up about some trucks at SEMA. Were you, did you get a little bit of some pushback from some SEMA videos?
So it's always risky filming stuff.
It is.
And especially because like you say things and, you know, at SEMA, as we're walking around and we're looking at vehicles, very few people are standing next to your vehicle. It's actually kind of frowned upon to like really stand there unless it's you or somebody that like people are coming to actually see. Like,
Right.
you know, you don't want to sit on the stripper pole in the bed of your truck and like it's an odd thing. So I remember
And
my
that
first
did
year at
happen
SEMA.
this year.
Yeah, my first year at SEMA, I was told like, hey, don't hang around your truck. That's kind of weird. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So when we walk around and we're filming vehicles, you only know what you're seeing. And
That's so true.
what's funny is we actually went to look at Zach's truck and he wasn't there. And I tried to get like my buddies to pretend to be Zach because like, just make up stuff. Let's walk around it. It's a cool truck.
Yeah.
So anyways, yes, we did stumble upon a Jeep with that my buddy Dedek was very interested in describing the drive shaft of. And Dedek being not the safest guy in the world, when he had a safety concern, I was like, well, feel free, buddy. You know, my camera is, you know, it's for me and my friends. So whatever y'all want to say,
Right.
enjoy it. So he went on a little rant about this drive shaft and then no big deal. We posted the video. And like, we don't ever really make the like, let's walk around and trash people videos at SEMA because
Right.
like it's not a good look. But there was a couple things that we just happened to like, I think we happened upon drive shaftless alley in like one shot. So we just hit a couple of them and then this one drive shaft. So Dedek made some comments on it. And then I think like an hour after that video went live, I got a message from the owner of the Jeep who was
really?
like not very happy. And I said, hey, look, I said nothing. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, we saw what we saw. My buddy made
Right.
some comments on it. That was it. Like, I'm not the drama guy. I don't need it. Don't want
Yeah.
it. Could care less. Like, I don't care how big your Instagram following is. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But also, you're messing with the wrong person. Like,
Oh.
if you want to go there, we'll go
Oh
there.
my
But
gosh.
I kept it very cordial. And then like the messages that kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And I'm like, bro, I don't care. Well, broette, I guess it's not a bro. But
That's hard.
I really don't.
Did your mind change any? Was there any information given that it's like, okay, maybe my mind changed a little bit, or you stand on? I didn't watch the video, but I saw. Well, I was in the video, so I read the comments as I should never do. But actually, there was no bad comments about me.
It
Normally,
was great. Yeah, we
like,
weeded out a lot of the bad people, I think, in the comment section
I think
these
so.
days.
So I'm like, I'm just going to go see, you know, I'm going to go get my feelings wrecked in the comments of what people think about me and my truck, I guess. And I just saw some comments of, and I assumed that was the one. And I didn't know if there was more of that. I was just like, you know, going to kind of see like, oh, did
I mean,
Ryan get in some
honestly,
trouble?
I never met this person. I don't follow this person.
She's one of my friends. She's really nice. But
yeah, I mean, again, I don't know you. Like, reach out. Hey, here's proof. Great. End it there.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to end this message stream multiple times of like,
oh, it's
hey,
still going.
It has ended. A couple
Okay,
days
God,
later, she
now
sent
I'm
me
bringing
more.
it back up. Shit, I'm
couple
so
days more.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, I understand it happens. Like I said, I try to stay out of all the social media drama. Like,
Yeah, for sure. We can
I'm
cut this
distracted
out
enough.
if you think it will be drama.
No, you're good. You're
Okay.
good. It's fine to address it again because I said nothing on the video,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to field all the messages, and to which multiple times I gave multiple outs of like, hey, use my video then as motivation to post it working. Like, use my video, whatever you want, like, or just let it die because everybody's gonna forget about it in 5 minutes. And
Right, for sure. On to the next thing.
She wouldn't let it die, and then all of a sudden there was like Instagram story posts that people were sending to me of like backhanded comments, and it's like, again, like, I will go there if I really wanted to, but like, I've done nothing in this situation. I said nothing. I could care less. So I let it die couple days later, she sends me videos of it doing a burnout on wet grass, which, my golf cart would do. But
Oh my God, you're going to get me in trouble now.
I mean, whatever. If you want to prove it, go out and prove it. And that's it. Like, you don't need to prove it to me in my private messages. Like we don't like it is what it is. I've built some sketchy stuff in my life as well and people question everything. You get it the same. People question everything we do, no matter what it is.
100%.
We could run it over with a tank and it survives, and people be like, oh, that won't stand up to anything.
100%. It kind of comes with it, and honestly, I mean, as cliche as this sounds, even the negative attention, I mean, she probably got a lot of followers off of that. I mean, the tag was right there. So it's like that, it's on the truck, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, I think Dedek was standing next to it. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good in a sense. I would
any publicity is good publicity.
Good, Yeah, any publicity is good.
So I think she said I should have used it to go viral with my video.
Should have used it? You could have. You should have put that in the thumbnail and not me. And then maybe you'd be more viral.
I hate to say it, but I'm going to be finding you next year for another thumbnail because that worked out well. That worked out well.
Well, you know what? I will forgive you for posting my truck on YouTube faster than me. No, I'm just kidding. I think you were the first one to post it to YouTube, really, though.
I try to be quick at SEMA. I try to be really quick.
Yeah, that's just my own fault. The Cap's back here laughing behind the camera. That's my own fault because I'm still behind on editing and I still have not released it. But yeah, I think your channel was the first glimpse of that. But, I'll be clickbait next year. That's fine.
It worked out great. Works for everybody.
And I'm sorry, Mariah. This is not me trying to start drama, I promise. I just wanted to push his buttons and ask a little bit,
I didn't go on a rant. We're doing good so far.
Yes, we are doing good. I said I wanted a rant, and then I brought that up. Probably bad timing.
I wasn't involved in it. I just fielded the messages.
Right.
Shoot the messenger over here.
Man, that's the thing. I had a similar thing happen with Zach. Cap's probably looking at me. I'm just going to go ahead and tell this little story. So there was some people sitting in my wheels at SEMA, which I know you would lose your shit about. I can see your face already. I'm kind of like not crazy about it, but also like, it is what it is kind of thing. Well, Zach makes a post without me seeing it. It's like 12 hours later I see it, and I'm getting the repercussions from it at this point, where he says, people of SEMA, don't sit in people's effing wheels, blah, blah, blah.
And I recall that post.
Yes. He's like, and I probably agreed. And there was, some pictures posted of some people sitting in my wheels, and I'm like, Zach, even though it's not a direct statement to that person, these people, X, Y, and Z, I'm the one that has to deal with the confrontation because of what you said. It wasn't me that said it, but now,
right.
So I understand what that means. Sometimes you gotta end up taking the hits from what your friends say or, significant others or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the name of the game.
I stand with Zach on that one, though. Stop sitting in people's wheels. Don't touch people's vehicles.
A PSA, if you will.
Exactly. I almost went on a rant there, but we're good. Nobody really touches our stuff
No
too
rants,
bad.
not yet. Save it for Instagram, right? So other than all of that, how was SEMA for you this year? I mean, it looked like you got a ton of content. It looked like you were out there killing it for sure.
It was good. My friends always get mad at me because they kind of come with me to like help push me to get more content. And I just want to hang out with all of like
awesome.
Our friends from around the country. So we'll like show up ready to film, and then I'll just like hang out with people and just want to talk because like I haven't seen these guys in a year. And then it was like, go get content. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I just want to hang out with my friends.
That's why I feel like the past couple years, like we've never, like it's like, hi, bye, because we're busy, and it's dragging from one thing to the other.
Well, and it's tough. I mean, you work directly with a lot of companies, and then I'm kind of coming in as like, now as we're growing, we're having meetings with companies to do work with. So like
awesome.
And I'll stay in their booth for 2 hours, 3 hours. And it's like, I should be going out and filming other content, but like, I genuinely appreciate the connection and I enjoy talking to people. So it's hard to get as much content as I used to get. So we've kind of streamlined it down. Like I only did one video this year about all the trucks. Cause it's like, not that you're seeing the same thing every year, but there's a lot of the same every year. So I can't just make 7 truck videos at SEMA anymore. People get sick of it. So doing the one, focusing on the trucks that we liked and focusing on our friends' vehicles, I think was better for me than if I did 10, try to chop up 10 videos to walking around and looking at trucks. And then we're kind of showing and showcasing more companies this year was cool. And we made a lot of really good connections, and I think more serious connections than in years past.
That's awesome.
I always tell people I'm not a hot chick. So it's harder to work with companies when you're not a hot chick. And
I'm about to go on a rant now, right?
That is a fact, Lacey. That is a fact.
Let this be known. I do not agree with everything Ryan says.
But
Put it on the record.
Yeah. So from Ryan's experience working with companies that also work with hot girls, it is a lot tougher on my end to lock down deals.
Right.
And I feel like I've now gotten in with companies that take me more seriously as a content creator versus obviously like I'm not going to be your poster model.
Right. I feel like it depends on the company, right? Because to me, in my eyes, you'd be a great asset to any company because you make content that is geared towards their product or X, Y, and Z. You give honest reviews on things. To me, that holds more value than just a pretty face. But I guess it depends on really what they're going for.
Well, one of the things is a lot of the companies that we deal with, they're old money. So even trying to get them to understand an influencer and what social media does and the marketing value you get, we're the cheapest type of marketing anybody's ever going to pay for.
And better than a TV commercial. Not better than, but more reach than, statistically, than a TV commercial nowadays. But they're still not ready to quite make that transition. They don't understand yet, unless, like you said, they're like a new company and there's more new generations within the company,
Right. So it's hard to get a company to be like, hey, get me to do some of your work, but they're used to somebody that's on a poster or on an advertising flyer. And obviously, again, that's not my pretty face. So to get them to understand that it's a little bit tougher. But now, and I've seen the shift because I've worked with a lot of the same companies over the years, and you see when they get a new marketing person that all of a sudden understands what we do, and then the whole thing just changes.
I love when that happens.
So it's tough. I mean, so this year I think I was taken seriously by a lot more companies than I have in the past, which I appreciate. I appreciate the shift. And again, like you said, it's more about the content than about the face. And so
for sure,
we've kind of upped also the content that we're putting out for the companies that I work with. And anybody that knows that watches my stuff, I don't just sign on with any company. I don't just market anything anybody will throw at me. I'm sure you have a ton of emails that you just delete. I do the same of random companies, random products, stuff that I would never want my name affiliated with because I want to keep that reputation of working with the best.
But yeah, with SEMA, I feel like I saw that transition this year too, where you want to get as much content as possible, but you're also connecting with bigger companies and growing those relationships, having meetings and all of that. And, doing podcasts or XYZ, that it's a little harder to do that now. And even probably you just walking around and so many people stopping you, it's hard to get probably to point A to point B and still be productive. So it's just a crazy week, I feel like, for all of us.
Everybody wants to tell their life story. And I'm not good at cutting people off because me either. I genuinely appreciate every single viewer. So it's this guy wants to tell me about his grandpappy's truck that he inherited and then 6 months later rolled, and then it's been in the shop, and then this and this and this. And I'll sit there and listen. And then my friends are trying to drag me away, being like, yo, we have a meeting in 10 minutes. And I'm like, but it's grandpappy's truck. I need to hear about this. And so it's the hardest part.
Hours. Yeah, that is the hardest part for sure.
And then you get certain people that hover a lot.
Yeah.
And that gets tough too, because
that's kind of hard.
I don't want to be the bad guy.
Then what do you do?
Sometimes my friends will be like, "Hey guys, we have some stuff to do," but it's a fun one. It's a fun one
for sure. So, did anyone else get any more Work For It tattoos?
Yes.
This year at SEMA?
I don't know if mine's backwards or not.
I don't know if you guys know this, but we are tattoo brethren.
Lacey is the OG. So the very first year we went to SEMA. I think it was the first year, maybe. I think so.
The first year you ever went to SEMA?
Might have been second year. Second year I went to SEMA. So me, Lacey, and my buddy Chris, we got Work For It tattoos. And apparently we started a trend because every year now, a lot of people get Work For It tattoos. It's freaking awesome. Like that is my favorite day of SEMA. It's always some random night. Ours was after you force feeding us disgusting White Castle, which I'll never eat again.
You still are not a fan of White Castle?
I walked by it and my stomach hurt this year. Like it's disgusting.
Oh,
I don't know how
man.
people eat that stuff.
It's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's not for me. But last year we had a great group of friends that went and got them. I think there's like 8 people or more that got Work For It tattoos, and then this year I think we had another 4. So I'm trying to maybe next year, now that we found a shop that's like clean and kind of like
different one than we went to.
Yeah, so ours was okay, but last year's was like the guys were doing some herbal medicine in between like tattoos. Like your eyes were burning just walking into this place. It was in the ghetto, and it was not.
That's the best, right?
Hey,
You
listen,
don't
shout
wanna
out to my
catch
friends that got
something?
tattoos and got no hepatitis, but I would not have gotten them there.
That is
We have
rough.
since found a much nicer place in the Link Hotel. So maybe next year we'll put together a group because there's a lot of people that like just outside of our friends group that want to get them.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do a Work For It tattoo day. Maybe a Work For It and an LB Motorsports tattoo.
Oh, I'm in. Yeah, I have an LB
Okay.
on my finger now. So now, I mean, it's probably your turn now. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'll take it next to the Made in USA on your butt cheek. How about
There you
that?
go. Okay. We're filling up that billboard.
Yep, I'll pay for the spot. It's like
Perfect.
a literal
Perfect.
billboard spot. How many people got them this year?
I believe 4 this year.
Hell yeah.
So, and we got some new ones.
Stacking 'em up.
I like when people come up with different ideas.
Yeah.
This logo looks sick as a tattoo, and I'm really upset we didn't have this when we got ours.
I was gonna say, I think Shannon got that logo, right?
Shannon did.
Pretty sure.
Anthony
Yeah.
did. Yeah, a bunch
I
of our
know.
other
Now
friends did.
mine's kind of lame compared to that.
I mean, I feel like another couple years of you working, yours will wear off,
know.
and then we'll get a freshie.
You know, I'm telling you, you're gonna get a bill from all this screen time you get sometimes.
There you go.
Talking with my hands, wrenching with my hands. I'm just kidding.
Right.
But yeah,
But yeah,
good times.
it's super cool.
Good times.
I mean, I'm honored that anybody would put anything that I've come up with. I mean, a lot of people get upset, like, "Oh, why would you put a brand on you?" But it's a lifestyle. Like it's not just a brand. So I think it's
exactly.
an easier tattoo to get versus like, Subway on your chest
Yeah.
or something.
For sure. Yeah, I have a lot of people that just see it and they're like, "Oh, Work For It." Like, I like that. They probably just think it's like a saying rather than a brand. So I like it. I feel like
I
it.
like the fact that it's almost
flows.
separate from me. Like
Yeah.
we've gone to concerts before, and I'll see a guy wearing a Work For It hoodie, and so like to me, it's like, well, he probably watches the channel. I'll go up and I'll be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
sick hoodie, man, that's awesome." And he's like,
So,
"Thanks,
thanks.
Who are you?"
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing, but at the same time, like it's cool that it's its own thing.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have that. That might have been a smart thing to do. Maybe one day rebrand another brand.
I feel like you've rebranded a few times. I feel like I think stick with what you got. I like it.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, what's coming up with you in 2024? Anything exciting?
I'm a horrible planner. We actually
too.
roll into SEMA with 0 plans, 0 people set up meetings like for me. Dedic grabs my phone and does all my DMing and stuff because like I suck at this.
You have some awesome friends.
I do. Dedic steps up a lot when it comes to that. But it is our 10-year anniversary for Work For It next year.
No way.
So
That is awesome.
have something pretty big coming. It's about what we can leak on that one.
Oh,
But-
that's so awesome. That's
Yeah.
so exciting. So 2014, I guess, is when you started it?
2014. Yeah.
Wow.
So we want to get
That's
back
crazy.
in a big, cool way. So I think at
Oh,
the
that's
very beginning
exciting.
of next year, we'll see. I think we should be
Hell
announcing
yeah.
some stuff.
I'm gonna be on the lookout.
All
Speaking
right.
of 2014, I feel like around then, probably the first time I ever found you on the internet was that viral picture of you sitting on your white lifted truck, something with a Prius and a diesel pump.
I was sitting on a Prius.
Yes, that's what it
Um,
is.
So this was back when like everybody was trying to figure out how to go viral, and
And you figured it out.
I came up with this really dumb idea. My buddy's older brother had a Prius, and I was like, "Hey, let's drive this to the gas station real quick." So he parked. I parked next to him, and then I took the diesel handle and I reached over the Prius and I sat on the Prius and I was like holding the hose up over the Prius. And then I think I don't even think I put the caption on it. I didn't watermark it because I'm an idiot. And and somebody else made it a meme. And to this day,
Still a meme.
It gets reposted. It is the grainiest thing because it's been screenshotted like 45 times over. But the comment sections it's amazing because it just shows like everything wrong about the internet.
Yes.
Like the amount of people that are, I beat him up if I jumped out that Prius and this little guy was sitting on my tailgate and blah, blah, blah. And then you get the guys being like, that moron's got a diesel pump. It's a gas truck. What is he thinking? And it's like
oh my God.
the dumbest things. And it's like, yeah, look, it's a Silverado. That's not diesel. I'm like,
Oh my God.
yeah, it's hilarious reading the comment sections every time that thing pops up. But it was the first thing that ever, I guess, went viral that I've done. And again, I didn't watermark it, so I got like very little credit for it because I think my post of it got like 500 likes to the millions of shares on Facebook. Lesson learned that day. Watermark your stuff.
Yeah, so that was the first thing I had ever seen of you on the internet. And I guess probably what thousands of other people, the first thing they seen too. I think that worked in your favor.
Well, going back to the negative attention of certain drive shafts, that was a very negative thing. Very few people agreed with that post, but it was still enough to get the attention.
Well, that's like a little learning lesson here. Then
that's right.
You know?
Stay out of my messages. I
Make
love
it
that you're
into
in the
a
middle
meme.
of this.
I hope I'm not in the middle of it. I don't want to be in the middle of it. Just off
I
the
didn't
record.
either, Lacey, and I got brought into the middle of it.
Should I not have brought it up? I just thought.
No, I'm saying I didn't make the comments on video, and I got brought into it.
That is true. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you be the middleman and pay for what everyone else says.
It's all right. I'm ready. I'm here for it. I played it very nice. Like
that's
I think
good.
I've grown up a
proud.
little bit.
I'm proud.
I think we only made one comment about it later, but
like,
I might have photoshopped that drive shaft on the Dedix Jeep in a post later. But it was a quick little
like
Instagram
a public
story.
Post. Oh, it's
like
a
an
story.
Instagram story. I did an ask
he
me a
says,
question.
"Stay on my messages, let it die," and then he's like, "I'm gonna,
Well, I did an ask me a question, and somebody's like, "Oh, have you seen that? There's this girl out there really upset about you." And then another person said, "Is Dedic gonna build his Jeep?" So I combined the two questions into Dedic's got some ideas he learned at SEMA, and then I photoshopped the little drive shaft onto his Jeep. Hey, if it works, let's start selling them. Give us one. We'll test it.
Honestly.
Send me one. We'll bolt it up to Dedic's Jeep, and we will test it.
You guys heard it. They're gonna test it. That would be dope, actually.
I'm ready. I'll fly Dedic out here for that.
I think that they should jump on that because that would be if it withstands. That's the best marketing ever.
Mm-hmm. And Dedic's Jeep doesn't have a front drive shaft either.
Perfect. It needs it. See, he can't even talk shit about no front drive shaft.
That's right. So we'll be in the same boat. Triangle rear drive shaft for triangle rear drive shaft. We'll put it through the test on my property.
I'm in. I'm co-signing this. Do it.
All right. Perfect. Perfect.
Oh yeah. So I do have a couple questions that your followers wanted me to ask.
No.
And I took out all the dumbass ones that I know you're not calling them dumbass, but the dumb questions I know you're not going to want to answer,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's see. So about 5 times people have asked, how long have you been growing out your hair and do you plan on cutting it?
Let's see. I started growing it probably about 6 or 7 years ago.
No shit.
I trim like every 3 months. I trim like an inch or two off of it. But it's pretty long. I mean, since we do video nowadays.
I was saying,
apparently, in a while. But
oh, you're the men's hairspiration, so you got to show them the link.
See, I've been trying to be a hair model for the last 7 years, but again, I'm not a hot chick, Lacey. I'm telling you, this is tough. This is tough.
So I guess it's just easy, huh? No, I'm just kidding.
It's your side's not easy. Your side's probably worse. My DMs get pretty gross. I can imagine yours.
Mine actually don't. Mine stay pretty respectful. I'm not really sure why that is. I mean, Zach's pretty big and scary, but also even before him, like mine are pretty chill. Do I put off scary vibes?
I don't know.
Cap is shaking his head like this behind the camera.
There's probably some intimidation going on there.
Maybe. Good, because I will put them on blast on my story. No, I can't do that now. You know how that goes with companies and stuff. Yeah, he's got it. He'll post it. He'll post the blurred out, unsolicited pictures if I get them.
Yeah. But also, no, I don't plan on cutting it because that's everybody's biggest thing. I will cut it at 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Oh. How short?
Cut a long way. Oh, I'll cut it all off.
Shave it. Bald.
I'll shave. I mean, not bald, but like I'll do like a number 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're
I'd do that for
we're
a million.
co-signing that too. I'm gonna pull this back up when you hit 1 million subscribers.
When that day comes, you let me know.
It's gonna
We'll be in the
happen.
nursing home.
I'll be right there. So let's see. The other one was, do you plan on getting any more farm animals?
So I really want a zebra.
Oh, that would be sick.
Which surprisingly you can buy them and they're not that expensive. But I've heard hit or miss things on if like sometimes they're kind of grumpy animals.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could tame a zebra.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
donkeys are kind of grumpy sometimes too, right? Supposedly. Your donkeys
they're
are
very-
amazing.
They're very similar animals. A donkey, a horse, a zebra, like they're all kind of the same thing. I feel like I could tame a zebra. So that's like my goal animal of like something weird to have, but like more goats would be cool. However, as you know, when you travel a lot, having animals is like the hardest part of that.
That is hard.
So luckily we have a couple groups of people that take care of the animals for us.
That's awesome.
But the more we have, the more risk that something can happen. So
Yeah.
for now, we're going to stay with what we got and really not replace animals as they die.
Yeah.
And reevaluate in a few years.
Right. That makes sense. So speaking of traveling, another big question was, do you plan on, and you know it's coming, do you plan on traveling out of California to anything this year?
So I don't fly, which is
Yeah.
like my biggest thing.
I
that
try to tell
sucks.
people that. Every time I'm on live, people ask me about you. I was telling them, that's why I'm like, I got to have him on the podcast. We got to give people what they want. Because they're like, when are you going to see D-Max Rhino again? When is he going to come to Texas, X, Y, and Z? I'm like, guys, he doesn't fly. I'm like, so, and
Yeah,
then
it
California is
makes
the
it
other
tough.
side of the country. It's a little hard,
It
you know?
really, I mean, the companies that I work with are like, we want to fly you out to this. We want to fly you to our manufacturing facility. And I'm like, you guys got like a tour bus I could take?
Yeah.
That's
You got a train?
Yeah. So we're actually, last year we were in the market for a motorhome.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so I'm kind of always on the lookout for something cool to possibly travel that way. I
That'd be
would like to
awesome.
go to Texas for some things. Some of the companies I work with are in Texas. So maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
my driving distance is like 9 hours. I'll go to Northern
Oh.
California. I'll go to Utah. I'll go to Arizona, Nevada.
Oh, right now. Because I was going to say, you're not going to make it to Texas in 9 hours for sure.
No, exactly. So anything longer than that, I did have Dedic drive me, and we found out that as long as the roads are straight, I don't die of car sickness.
Oh, I
So-
forget. You get car sick too.
Yeah,
That is
so
the worst.
and
I
that's
pretty
my
much
other
have
problem
to
is
be
I have to drive.
sleeping or driving.
Yeah, and I can't sleep when I'm a control freak. I'm like staring at the steering wheel, being like, "Why'd you turn that way? Why'd you do
Yeah,
that?
that's not
what's
good.
going on there?" Yeah, so
That makes it hard.
we'll leave that open ended. At some point, we'll get around the rest of the country.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you ever come to Texas, you'll have to let us know. I think you'll like it.
Definitely.
You got to explore outside of California. Although where you live in California is awesome. I could live there.
It's
I mean,
what a lot of people
obviously
don't
the
understand.
ranch. You're like in your own little world, you know?
We live in America on my ranch.
Yeah.
Just set your own rules. Nobody's there to check.
Right. So another one was, what's your favorite thing about YouTubing and showing parts of your life?
Kind of like what we touched on in the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
Just hopefully being something that somebody else can look up to, and
Mhm.
hopefully setting a good example. Kind of like yourself. I mean, we don't go party.
Right.
I don't drink. Don't do drugs. Don't do any of that. Whereas like 99% of the celebrities people look up to do. Like, and if
That's
that's your
so
lifestyle,
true.
that's your lifestyle. You know, I live my life, you live yours. But a lot of people are looking up to these, face tattooed 17-year-old millionaires that are just out doing drugs full time. And
Yeah.
I wanted to not be that. So having a platform is the coolest thing in the world. We're not Justin Bieber, but like just to have some sort of a platform to get some message across is super cool. That's my favorite thing. I mean, YouTube's a struggle, coming up with content,
Yeah.
editing content, like it all sucks.
Yeah, I cried
and, like,
this
you
morning
lose-
about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
yeah, and you
sounds
lose
so
motivation.
dumb because it's like it's I don't want to say it's an easy job because it's definitely not, but in the grand scheme of a lot of things we could be doing, like so blessed, but it does get to be a lot sometimes, and just like in the public eye, even to this extent, can get kind of exhausting sometimes.
Well, there's a lot of expectation, and it's like
Yeah.
it's a daily expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
the hardest thing is to stay relevant, I mean, I could post my day every day. It's
Right.
not exciting enough to be content.
Mhm.
And now everybody wants long form videos. So if you want a 30-minute video, that's like 3 days worth of content.
100%.
So it's tough. And I always tell people, like, when I go back to a 9 to 5, so I'll go take on certain jobs that are 9 to 5-ish, like building some of the restaurants that we build. That's my vacation. Like, going and working at 9 to 5 is my vacation, because I can shut my brain off of constantly having to try to be relevant in coming up with content. It's tough. I mean, I thought about taking the rest of the year off this year for the first time in my life, just because I was burnt out. And then SEMA burnt me out, and then being sick after SEMA, I had no voice for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, this is it. This is the break I needed. And then I had enough content to like get me through those 2 weeks. And then that next week I was like, shoot, I don't have a video for Monday. I'm going out and filming. And had to come up with something.
So, kind of on that subject, do you ever, this is just my own question, do you ever feel like literally just quitting all things internet and like going back to being, I don't want to say normal, but more of a slow paced normal life, not in the public eye, and more of like a 9 to 5 blue collar situation, just something more simple? Do you ever think about that?
Yes, daily. I regret to a certain extent choosing a career path that was so public, because it's so hard to stay relevant, and everything you do has this like crazy magnifying glass on it. I mean, God forbid you say the wrong thing in a video. God forbid you describe something wrong. Doing stuff at my house and like people get my address. Like, it's just, there's so much that you lose by choosing that career path versus, I own a construction company. I could just go do that completely full time and never show my face in public again. Probably make more money, to be honest with you. But like, I'm drawn to this, and it's not even the attention, but it's having that message. And I feel like I need to be our generation's Micro from Dirty Jobs.
Hell yeah.
That's my goal, is to be that inspiration. So I keep getting drawn back, but every single day I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, get out of this. You're too old for YouTube. Like,
I'm glad I'm not the only one. But like you said, it really is like those couple messages that you get that you are making a difference. That, I'm thinking like, okay, if I would quit everything, then those little girls that are looking up to me or X, Y, and Z, like, they're going to be like, oh, well, she's just a quitter. Like, well, I'll just quit when things get hard or this or that. We've kind of positioned ourselves here and got to keep moving, But
well, that's the thing. I mean, especially you being a woman in this industry, there's so few and far between that have substance that aren't just paid models or paid spokespersons. So you have to, like, they need that person to look up to.
Yeah.
So we're here for the long run, I guess.
It's heavy sometimes. I say that though, and then I'm like, there's people that are nurses and doctors that the load is so much heavier. It is what it is.
It's
not
hard to
unthankful.
complain about.
Yeah,
it's hard to complain about. But if you live it, you understand it.
Right. For
I don't
sure.
know if you have any stalkers, but I have
Not
my share.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been quiet for a minute, but like stuff like that really puts it into perspective. Like what real celebrities have to go through.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
It's kind of a horrible life.
Honestly, yeah.
You're making money and I guess you're doing what you love, but at some point you don't love it anymore. If you're singing, 7 nights a week, like at some point it really starts to feel like work.
And then not being able to live a normal life.
Exactly.
Go to Walmart or anything, which I can't relate to that, but I can't imagine like that would be hard.
Yeah. So I know it looks like we have it easy, but everything has its struggles, and
right. For sure.
Being on YouTube is definitely not easy. That's why most people fail.
That is so true. And you keep a lot of your life private still yet. I do feel like, how do you feel like that's important for you?
It kind of allows me to disconnect from YouTube. Like my dad being on YouTube was something I never thought would happen. I thought he would hate it because he's Mr. like conspiracy theory, the government, like we shouldn't even have iPhone. It took I had to buy him his first iPhone years ago because I was sick of him like going on MapQuest on the computer to get directions
and typing out the direction.
Yeah, and I was filming it when we were getting him his F450. He was, it was COVID. Everybody had to wear masks. So I'm like, all right, if he's in like the background of a shot, it's not going to be the end of the world because it's not showing his face. And then he just like, his personality is very strong as well. And it showed in that first video, and like the comment section just blew up with everybody loving him. And now, as soon as I post a video that he's in, he's on the couch, like watching it he's reading the comments as fast as they're coming in. And he's like super excited for the next video. So he's really the only person of my family that I think you're ever going to see on my YouTube channel.
That's
if I have it
amazing.
my way. Because I like to just disconnect. My favorite thing at the end of the day is just like shutting off from that world. I'm home. Like, that's it. Like, I do sit on Instagram and scroll, but again, I stay out of the drama. Unless you personally attack me, then I have fun. And I enjoy that a little too much, but like I disconnect. So keeping my family and my personal life as private as I can is super important to me. But even then, like, my address gets leaked. People show up at the house. It sucks because I wish people would respect us more in that terms of like, even if you're a fan and it's not for, a bad reason of you showing up and you're not trying to do harm, like just respect our privacy a little bit. I moved out in the middle of nowhere to not be found, and I have been found more times living out there than I did when I lived in the city.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of crazy actually because of how far it is out.
It's a mission. You've been there. It's
yeah.
And people still find me. There's one guy that likes to leak my address regularly.
Lawsuit.
I don't understand why. He's a doctor in in I believe New Jersey or Maine. I don't remember. I have all of his info though. So when he's ready to play that game, we're ready to play that game as well. But he has made like fake Instagram accounts with my address as like the link. And then every time I would change my profile picture, you probably saw like maybe it was last year, maybe 6 months ago, I kept changing my profile picture because he made a fake account. Yeah. So I would just change it to be like, yo, this is me. And then he would change it to that. So I changed it to a picture of him and his wife. And I changed my profile picture to that. And all of a sudden it stopped changing. So
that, because you found out his identity, obviously.
Yeah, well,
it was like,
so he's tried to leak.
Holy shit.
Yeah, when I was house hunting, he would actually leak every address to every house that I went to. Which is why I didn't actually post the ranch until after I bought it. But unfortunately, we did a private sale, but it still had to go on the MLS. So he was able to find it that way.
That is a serious stalker. What do you think his obsession with you is?
I really don't know, because every comment he comments is talking crap, right? But he comes back to every video. And it's a common
biggest
trend.
Fan.
It's really what it is. I mean, you live that pathetic of a life. You're clearly a failing family medicine doctor because this is your obsession. It's some random guy on the complete opposite coast. And again, I always say, because I have some pretty weird male stalkers. Like I keep going back to not being a hot chick, but like, why me? Like, why do you have
hot chick problems though?
Yeah, what about me like makes these men want to stalk me? It's so strange. And clearly it's their issues, right? Like,
yeah.
But you know, like when people have issues like that, there's only so much you can do without it really going to a crazy level.
Yeah, honestly.
So
it's kind of scary.
I usually, I keep it quiet. I don't leak their info, even though I have all of it. However, Mr. Family Medicine Doctor, like, keep going, and I shall keep going as well. But that has since seems like it's died down for a little bit. So let's just, we can all play nice. Just stop.
That's crazy.
That went on a little tangent. Sorry, that was almost a rant, Lacey. We almost got a rant.
That one deserves a rant.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
That is so crazy. Well, I feel like we've touched on some interesting things today. I learned some things that I didn't know. Well, I guess we can wrap this up unless there's anything you want to touch on that you have.
I think we hit on a lot of stuff. I didn't really see us going a few places that we went in this podcast. So I appreciate you taking the time to have me on. And
yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy, and I'm glad we could knock it out before Thanksgiving, before the holiday. Right.
So hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yes, you too.
You'll probably be working through it like we will.
Yeah, we're not doing anything. You know how it goes. I'm like, I guess that's tomorrow. Obviously, this is going to be posted after, but yeah, Thanksgiving tomorrow. I totally forgot that was tomorrow. Yeah. So that's our level. I did too. I'm like, fast. I don't know. It's Thursday. The post office is going to be closed and the bank, and I'm going to be pissed about it. So that's all I know. There you go. Exactly. All right. Well, it's good to see you. And hopefully it's not SEMA next year by the time I see you again. But if it is, maybe we can make some time to take another thumbnail so your video can get a lot of views.
There you go. Perfect. I appreciate it. Come with a creative drive shaft next year. Let's really set the internet on fire.
Okay, I will. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.